I'm so happy to be here. My name is Mark Burge, Global Startup Advocate at AWS. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, Mark. My name is Idan. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Astrix Security. We help companies change the way that they manage non-human connections, tackling both third-party risks and internal risks, allowing the organization to have a better connected world for them.
That is super awesome. I'd always like to understand the inspiration behind what made you go down this path. So maybe give us a little bit of your own background and how you came to come upon this as a potential thing to solve.
Right. So I think that we came to this because, and I'm saying we came because I have a good co-founder. Because CEO is in New York. He relocated recently. And we know each other from like 18 years old. We were recruiting back then to an Army Academy.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So we go a long way together now. And at some point we decided that we want to go on a new adventure together. And the question was, what should we do, right? And it's not what should we do, like it's what people need, right? What customers need, what security world need. So we have like an extensive background in cybersecurity, both for the army and from the civilian industry. And here in Israel, in positions related to R&D, product, sales, etc. So it was a good opportunity to go and ask the world. So we did it for about 8 months until we decided, all right, this is the path to go. And we went and raised our seed round.
That's incredible. So how did you actually go through that process of launching? Because you said a lot there with, finding the idea, trying to identify the customer problem, then you got seed funding. So
Right.
Can you maybe dig in a little bit more about that process?
Yeah. So we did what some people do here, and we started from the garage, which in Israel is the Tel Aviv apartment. It's not like a real garage. And we were there and we were asking questions about what are your problems? What are your top 3 things that you are going to do in 2021? And that was the end of days.
And these were maybe like chief security or information security officer.
Exactly. So chief security officers, information security, we would meet with them. We would ask them these questions. And we would normally ask them another thing, that they can introduce us to 3 more people. And that's how we extended our understanding of the problems that we are seeing, eventually starting to suggest solutions for that, and understanding that, all right, so we have something, we have a problem, we have a solution, and we have the understanding that if we are able to bring this solution to this problem, somebody is willing to pay, somebody is willing to do something about it. And then we thought, all right, we're comfortable enough with taking the next step of seed funding.
And how was that process of seed funding? Because was that before you had a product or after you had a product?
Yeah, so we didn't have a product back then. We had a good problem explanation where we have like an effective design partners already, in which we worked on creating the solution, but in a conversation wise, and the ability, but from a research perspective, to say, okay, it is viable, we can do it. So we researched the solution to that extent. And after we got our seed round, and it was closed like 3 weeks after, we already had our first POC. We connected to one of our current customers, Avoda, travel tech company, and we were able to start bringing in the value and see how they tackle the problem once they have the solution in their hand.
Amazing. So you already had a customer right out the gate.
Oh, yeah.
That's usually some of the biggest challenges startups have, is trying to find, where his customers are and getting those, early deals. So at what point did you feel, after you had a few of these customer experiences, that you truly had a grasp of the market and you were feeling you had traction?
It's a great question. So at the beginning, we didn't build like a complete product. We built a backend, and we were creating like manual reports, telling them these are your 3, 4, 5 top problems that we have identified, and this is what we suggest you to do. And we wanted to see that they actually do what we suggested them. Only then, after we saw that they change things in their environment and they, go and talk with the relevant people, the other owners, then we said, okay, so this is the time to start building a product. And we started like actually building a front end. We started to build like things that really allows people to work with what we have built, and not like having us a kind of a middleman in between the information and what people do. But yeah, that was the point.
That's a really smart approach. So you started to get traction. And if I'm not mistaken, you then got a follow-on round of funding. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct. So this is what happened. So we got the first funding, and we had did these POCs with several of our design partners from back then. We saw that there is a really good traction, there is really good work, and we had an opportunity to extend our round. It was really different times in comparison to today's. And it was possible to do it. So we got we got more funding from our current investors. We're very familiar with the details of everything that is going on in order to go even further in what we're trying to do and, conquer the market.
And obviously you're working with investors that already know what you're doing and very familiar with your story. And so having them see your traction, that was so impressive, obviously gave them the confidence to continue to invest even more in the startup. So now what's the future like? Like, what things do you want to kind of tackle now? Is it a new product? Is it new markets, maybe new customer segment?
Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that there's a lot still to do in what we are already doing now, extending more and more security for connectivity, security for connected things, connected identities that are non-human to all sorts of things that happen. And we are actually thinking that one of the challenges that normally startups have in this point, where we are already part of market fit, is the way that you grow, right? And how you still have the right culture and the right people in place in order to go the journey. And if we get the right people and the right culture, we can go to wherever we want in this journey.
Including going big and going global.
Exactly. Yeah. So most of our customers are US based. We have a very small customer base here in Israel.
And I think that's going to be the case for a lot of the startups here in Israel. Like US seems to be like the big, go-to first market. So I guess, in this journey, so you've been at it for a few years.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to share just as a lesson learned or insight in terms of how you've experienced being a founder?
Yeah. So I think that there are a few things that I learned. Maybe I learned them before, but you learn them even harder when you're having this kind of experience. So first of all, is just what I said about people and culture. This is like the very basic stones that you need to put in place. If this is good, you can do a lot of other things. Maybe the product is not good enough. Maybe the problem is not good enough. But not the right people that came with you to this journey. The second thing is that you need to be very curious about what you are doing and about what your company is doing, about your assumptions, and being open to change them if you see things that are different. The last thing is it's going to be like a very bumpy ride. This is how we experienced it so far. So be passionate about what you're doing. Make sure that the people that you have are passionate about it as well. And and you can go this journey, I think. This is what I've done so far. We'll see to learn in the future.
Well, thank you so much. This has been a fascinating, just exploration in terms of what you're building. And I think Astrix has a really incredible future ahead of it. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mark.
Take care. Bye now.